Hi there, I am talking about what to do if you've received a letter of demand for a copyright infringement for images that somebody else put perhaps on your website or on your blog. So, for example, what is the situation if you have a web designer, for example, who creates your website and then you end up getting a letter of demand? And in fact, this happened to a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine called Elaine. She had a professional designer design her website. About 4 or 5 years went past, and then she got a letter of demand from Dun & Bradstreet, who represent Getty Images. And Dun & Bradstreet said that she had one image on her website which was a copyright infringement. It was a very common looking image. It was there was a big rock and then a smaller rock and a smaller rock and a smaller rock and a smaller rock. It looked very common. Who knew? Anyway, so her question to me, obviously, firstly, she had to go through the whole Getty Images process as I've described elsewhere in the previous module of this course. But what could she do about the designer? She wanted to know. Is the designer responsible? And on the one hand, the question simply is yes. If you're a web designer and you are putting images on people's websites, you have a responsibility to make sure that the images that you use can be used by your client. So in that situation, her designer might have had a license, but might not have had a license for Elaine to use it. So you have to check what the license provisions say. As a business owner, if you're getting someone to create a website for you or create a blog, you should always provide your own images. Get a photographer in to take the photos, or buy them from a stock image site that guarantees the copyright in the images. And to help you, I'm going to put a link to the stock image website that I use that gives you a guarantee. They say they'll pay up to $5,000 if you get a copyright infringement notice. So that's the best site that I've found so far. It's $99 for 200 images, and you can use up those 200 within a year. And once you've purchased that particular image, you can keep using them. So if you're in year 2, you can still use the images from year 1. So back to the question about the designer. Yes, the designer is responsible because they should have made sure the right licenses were in place. However, in Elaine's case, she had the problem that she didn't even know where the designer was anymore. It had been a few years. She didn't know how to contact him. So in that situation, she just simply let it ride. But in a situation where you know who the designer is, you could require them to pay the infringement fee, because they really should have provided you with a website that did not infringe somebody's images, did not infringe their copyright. But to avoid all of that and the drama and the potential that you might have to pay and can't find the designer years later, it's best that you are legally savvy, that you understand your rights and obligations. It's your website. You are responsible. So you have to pay the licensing fee, and if you can find your designer later, you might be able to claim that money back from them. And so good luck in not falling foul of Getty Images in the future. My name is Catherine Warburton, and I am the Legal Lioness. Now, if you'd like to brainstorm with me, just look further down in one of the later modules in this course, and you'll see that there'll be a module that talks about brainstorming with me. If you want to do that, that's where you'll find the link to book in a telephone session, a short telephone session with me, and we can have a chat, brainstorm your business or IP legal question, and come up with an action plan for you. Thank you so much for listening.